Hello everyone. This series of video is for electronics engineer who are practicing for their competitive exams for various reasons like for higher studies or for job recruitment. We will discuss some important objective questions here and the concept behind them for more understanding. So let's get started. The first question, in the circuit shown below, all the components are ideal. If Vi is plus 2 volt, the current I0 sourced by the op-amp is dash milliamp. So the given circuit is here. Here it is mentioned that Vi is plus 2 volt and we have to find the I0 value sourced by the operational amplifier. So this question was asked in GATE 2020. So in this question, input is given in the non-inverting amplifier. And by a virtual short concept, we can say that this point will have the voltage equal to Vi. So this is the concept behind the operational amplifier. And for the non-inverting amplifier, we can write the gain as 1 plus Rf by R1. So gain is nothing but V0 by Vi, which is equal to 1 plus Rf by R1, or V0 will be equal to 1 plus Rf by R1 into Vi. Okay. So what is Rf? Rf is 1K, R1 is 1K, Vi is 2 volt. So when we apply all this value here in this, so we will get V0 equal to 2 volt. Okay. So we had found out what is V0. Our aim is to find what is I0. So by applying the KCL at this node, V0 minus Vi divided by 1K plus V0 divided by 1K equal to I0. Okay, so 4 minus 2 divided by 1K plus 4 divided by 1K equal to I0. So 6 equal to I into 1K, or I equal to 6 milliamps. So here in the question it is asked op-amp is dash milliamps. So answer is 6 for this. So the next question, if an op-amp having specified signal bandwidth of 1 MHz and closed loop gain ACL equal to 200 volt per millivolt, the cutoff frequency will be. So here the closed loop gain is given, ACL equal to 200 into 10 to the power 3. To find cutoff frequency, the formula is Fc equal to bandwidth divided by closed loop gain. So when we substitute the values of bandwidth and the closed loop gain here, we will get 5 Hertz. Okay. So another important thing you should know is the op-amp gain bandwidth product is constant for voltage feedback amplifiers, but it is not applicable for current feedback amplifiers, because in current feedback amplifier the relationship between gain and bandwidth is not linear. So it is an important point to be noted here. The next question is, a digital communication system transmits a block of 9 bits. The probability of error in decoding a bit is alpha. The error event of each bit is independent of the error event of other bits. The received block is declared erroneous if at least one of the bit is decoded wrongly. The probability that the received block is erroneous is, okay, so we have block of n bits. So it is a block of n bits. So each bit error probability is independent of other bits. Okay. So what given is the probability of error of one bit is alpha. So if the probability of the bit which is not error, we can say no error. The probability of no error of one bit will be equal to 1 minus alpha. Okay, here the block contains n bits. So the probability of no error for the entire block will be 1 minus alpha into 1 minus alpha up to, we can say, n times. That is 1 minus alpha in power n. What the question asked is the probability that the received block is erroneous. This is the block is not error. This is the probability. For the probability that the received block is erroneous will be equal to error of block will be equal to 1 minus alpha to the power n. So where it is? So the answer will be B here. Okay, this is a theory question. The crest factor for an alternating current source is the ratio of. So what is the crest factor? It is the ratio of maximum value to the RMS value. Okay, this is the answer. The crest factor is the ratio of maximum value to the RMS value. Okay, so for the sinusoidal signal, the maximum value is, we represent in the form of Vm. For the RMS value, it will be Vm by root 2. So now what is crest factor for a sinusoidal signal? Vm divided by Vm by root 2. It is nothing but root 2. Okay, so for a sinusoidal signal, the crest factor is equal to root 2. The current waveform for a purely resistive load is sinusoidal. So the crest factor will be equal to root 2. Some loads have current waveform that are not sinusoidal. So they draw higher current. For this, the crest factor will be greater than root 2. Okay, so the load which is having the resistance is purely sinusoidal, so it will have the crest factor of root 2. Other than the load which is not sinusoidal will draw more current, so it has the crest factor will be greater than root 2. Okay, the next question is, a 10-bit D to A converter is calibrated over the full range from 0 to 10 volt. If the input to the D to A converter is 13A, it is given in hexadecimal, the output is dash volt. First we will convert this hex input 13A 16. It will be decimally equal to 314. Okay. Now the output voltage, we have a formula for this. Output voltage is equal to resolution into decimal equivalent of input. Now what is this resolution? Resolution is nothing but the smallest change that can occur in an analog output when you are giving the digital output. So resolution can be represented as this step size divided by full scale. So for example, if n bit of D to A converter, we will be having 2 power n different levels and the number of steps will be 2 power n minus 1. So here the output voltage can be defined as 10 divided by 2 power 10 minus 1 into 314. This is a decimal equivalent of input. So the voltage, when we are rounded off to the 3 decimal places, we will be getting 3.069 volt. This is the answer for this question. Okay. The next question is, if the bias current in the IC 741 op-amp is IQ equal to 19 microamp and the internal frequency compensation capacitor is 30 picofarad, the slew rate of the op-amp will be nearly. So we have to find the slew rate. So now what is slew rate? Slew rate is nothing but the maximum rate of change of output voltage. We can say slew rate is represented as dV by dt max. Okay, we know the relation between the capacitor current and voltage. The basic formula is there, that is I is equal to C into dV by dt. Since we are having the fixed values, we will get the dV by dt. So we have to find dV by dt, it is the slew rate, so I divided by C. When you substitute I value and C value here, you will be getting 0.63 voltage per microsecond. So here is the answer. Okay. Now slew rate will give you the information that how fast an op-amp can respond to the input. Usually it is represented in volts per microsecond. So for example, if you consider the ideal case, the time factor should be equal to 0 for ideal case. Then what will be the value of slew rate in the ideal case? It will be infinity. So for this ideal case, the slew rate will be equal to infinity. This is the concept behind this. Okay. The next question is, the figure given below is a multiplexer where S1, S0 are the selection lines, I0 to I3 are the input data lines, En is the enable line and we have to find the F. What is the output? The options are given. So here this multiplexer will work only when the enable is high. So see here the input given to the enable is 0, but it is given in the bubbled input. Okay, so it is high. So this multiplexer will give the output. So now what is the output of the multiplexer? It is represented in formula like S1 bar, S0 bar. The formula is S1 bar, S0 bar, I0 plus S1 bar, S0 I1 plus S1 S0 bar I2 plus S1 S0 I3. Okay, so when you substitute the values here, you will be getting P bar Q bar R. The next term will be equal to 0. Then P Q bar R plus PQ. When you simplify this one, Q bar R into P plus P bar plus PQ. P plus P bar is equal to 1. So your answer will be Q bar R plus PQ, where it is PQ plus Q bar. So here is the answer for this one. Okay, this is the theory question. Which one of the following is correct for an ideal operational amplifier? So for ideal operational amplifier, we should have input resistance infinity, output resistance 0 and bandwidth equal to infinity. This is the answer. For the ideal case, input resistance should be high. So this is to ensure that op-amp causes no loading effect in the circuit. So higher the input impedance, the lower the current will be drawn by the op-amp. Ideally, it should be infinite. So when op-amp produces for the output resistance, when op-amp produces output signal, it should be transferred maximum to the output load. It is possible only when the output impedance is low. Ideally, it should be equal to 0. The ideal bandwidth of the op-amp is infinite. That is, it should accommodate more frequencies. That is from 0 Hz to infinite Hz. It should accommodate all the frequencies. This is the ideal case. For ideal op-amp, input resistance infinite, output resistance 0 and bandwidth should be infinite. Next question is, in an 8085 microprocessor, the number of address lines to access a 16K byte memory bank is dash. Okay, we have a formula 2 power n equal to n. Here the small n represents the number of address lines and this capital N represents the number of memory location. We have to find this small n and the capital N is given. That is 2 power n equal to n is nothing but 16K. 16K. We can write like this. 16K is equal to 2 power 4. K in the binary form is nothing but 2 power 10. So it is nothing but 2 power 14. The question asked is the number of address line. That is what is small n. Small n will be equal to 14 for this. Okay. The next question is the pole 0 map of a rational function g of s is shown below. When the closed loop contour is mapped in the GS plane, then the mapping encircles. So how the mapping will encircle? This is the question. Here the contour is encircled in clockwise direction. And in this diagram, there are 2 poles and 3 zeros inside the contour. So for this, we have to know about the Nyquistic stability criterion. According to Nyquistic stability criterion, n is equal to p minus z. Okay. So now what is n? N is the number of counterclockwise rotation. Okay. Number of counterclockwise rotation. Number of counterclockwise rotation about the origin. P is the number of poles and Z is the number of zeros. When you substitute poles equal to 2 here and 0 is 3. So n will be equal to 2 minus 3. N will be equal to minus 1. Minus 1 means it is 1 rotation, but minus represent, now it is rotating in the clockwise direction. So the answer is the origin of the G of S plane once in the clockwise rotation. Okay. We will see some more objective questions with their concepts in our future videos. Till then, stay connected. Thank you.